Hi everyone, Todd White from Potomac Financial Group here. Wanted to share another short video message with you today, but first I wanted to say thank you to everyone that reached out to me last week. I got a lot of great feedback, a lot of words of encouragement and appreciation, and it seems the overwhelming response that I heard was that you found it to be helpful, that it was a good way for us to share information with you and get our thoughts out there, and that you wanted to see more of them. And so here we are. Today's Thursday, the 26th. It's getting to the point where it's tough to keep track of the days. I know Tom Hanks has been in the news recently with, he was dealing with the coronavirus and seems to be doing okay, but made me think of the movie Castaway, where he had to keep track of the days on the inside wall of his cave. And I don't know that we're quite there yet, but gosh, this has been a long 3 weeks or so, 3 or 4 weeks. But we've finally starting to see some signs of improvement this week, and that's mainly what I wanted to talk to you about today. The last 3 days or so, we'll see how Thursday finishes up today, but it's starting off on a good foot. And the last 3 days, we've seen a nice bounce in the markets in just about all the different sectors of the stock market, and that's been encouraging. We, as you know, we've dropped a lot in the first 3 weeks of this. And the S&P 500 got down more than 30% at one point. And I don't know that the lows are in. I'm not saying that we're not going to go lower. In fact, my message today is, I think that this bounce that we're seeing is one of those head fakes. I talked about the extended W in the last video and what our experience might be as the market finds a bottom and we work our way through this. And it was not surprising that we got some kind of bounce, and it was a big bounce. It was one of the best days that the market has ever had, and so it's nice to mix a few of those in with all of these negative records that we've been setting lately. But it's just encouraging to know that there are some buyers that are stepping in. I know just within our client base, we've had a lot of people say that they wanted to add to their stock exposure, or they thought this was a good time to put some cash to work. And so I'm glad to see that that's happening, and it's happened in a pretty big way. I don't think we're out of the woods just yet. From what I understand, as far as the numbers and what we're experiencing with the coronavirus, the first week or so of April is going to be very telling as far as what track we might be on as we get through this, and whether we'll be setting up for one of the better case scenarios with the being able to get back to a normal life sooner than later. Or whether we're on kind of the average scenario that a lot of the medical experts are predicting, or are we on the track to have this be even worse than a lot of people have feared. And so we're at this point now where we're getting a lot of good data. We're seeing a lot of things improve around the world, but here I think we're still in the early innings, and it's too early to make a call yet. But as we're going through this downturn, there have been 4 things that we've been watching to help give us an indication of when we might start seeing things get better. And by and large, we've taken care of 2 of those as of this week. And that is the Federal Reserve's response and what they are now doing to help keep the markets orderly and to help put a backstop in for a lot of the bond markets. They stepped in very early in this crisis and delivered some relief to the Treasury markets and the mortgage-backed securities markets. And then most recently, they're going to step in and help the municipal bond markets and also the corporate bond markets, which is an unprecedented move for our Fed. It's not unprecedented around the world. We do see this type of activity and assistance from the European Central Bank and certainly Japan's central bank. And so while we haven't necessarily had to go to those measures yet, the Federal Reserve has stepped in and in a big way, basically saying they'll spend whatever it takes to make sure things are okay. And so that was encouraging, and we needed to see that because there were signs of the bond market being under a lot of stress about a week ago. And so that is starting to get better, and it's good to see that in portfolios as well, as a lot of the bond portfolios have been recovering for the last week. The second thing that we are optimistic about is the stimulus bill. It's hard to know what to actually call this, because I'm hearing stimulus bill, I'm hearing bailout package, I'm hearing bridge loan package, and I just think it's a combination of the three. But as of today, the Senate has passed it, and it's now in the House, and so hopefully we get that passed in the next day or so. And that was the second piece that we needed to see. We need to see relief to corporations. We need to see relief to small business, and we needed to see individual Americans get some assistance. And so as we get more details on what that actually means, we'll share some more information with you. But it's a larger number as far as the total amount. It looks like it's going to be north of $2 trillion, which I was happy to see. It may not be the end. We may need a second round of that, depending on how long this goes. And so we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But those were the two big things. The two other remaining things that we need to see, I think, before we can really feel better that we're moving on, is we need to see the oil markets continue to improve. And as I mentioned in my last video and some updates, having that thrown into the mix here with everything we were dealing with the coronavirus just put an additional stress on the markets. And so we need to see that. We need to see oil prices start going back up. And so we're keeping an eye on that. And then the last thing is of course, seeing the cases with the coronavirus, seeing that in situation improve. And like I said, parts of the world are, they do seem to be coming through on the other side, but it's too early to tell here yet in the U.S. And I'm sure everyone's keeping track of that and seeing places like New York really start to struggle. And Governor Cuomo's message the other day was, this is basically coming to every city, and so we should be prepared for that. And so that's also the reason why I think this recent rally with the stock market, while it's great to see it, and I'm relieved that it's happening, I just get the feeling that we're likely going to go back down and possibly retest the levels that we were at just on Monday. And so for those of you that are watching the S&P 500 and paying attention to the numbers, I'll give you this. If you're not watching the S&P, I say that's probably a better way. And I'm not encouraging you to start watching it as closely as we are. But the levels that we reached on Monday, right around the 2250 or 2300 for the S&P, that's being looked at as a very important support level right now. And so while the market has rebounded from those levels, if we do see or we do experience some more bad news, I wouldn't be surprised if it takes us back down and we retest those levels and possibly go a little bit lower. I hope that we don't break through that significantly. That would signal that we probably have another it could be 5, 10, 15% lower from those levels. But from what we've seen with the price action, that's been an important level. And so we'll keep our eyes on that. So I just wanted to provide this update. We've been sending a lot of things out via social media. And so if you're not following us on Facebook or LinkedIn or even Twitter, that's where we're able to share a lot of articles much quicker than something like this. We are still working remotely as a staff. As you can see, I'm here in the office just to get a few things done. And it's a lot easier to record something like this when I don't have two crazy little boys in the background. So that was part of it. But we're functioning very well from home. Everybody's able to do all the trading and adjustments, and certainly the phone calls and emails from home. So I'm happy about that. Please don't hesitate to get in touch with us if you want to dive in a little bit deeper and look at your portfolio and talk about how things are going. We encourage you to do that, and we'll continue to bring these updates and keep you posted. So until next time, stay safe and stay healthy. Stay inside as much as you can, and try not to watch too much of the financial news. Keep you in better spirits. So take care.